Hello and welcome to the Billion Dollar Broker Podcast. My name is Ross Lacane. I'm bringing my 25 years industry experience together with leading experts around the globe to give you the insights on how to live a better life and grow a profitable mortgage broking business that you are proud of. Welcome to another episode of the Billion Dollar Broker. Today we've got an exciting guest. While he's only a couple of years into his broking journey, he's kicked some massive goals. I'd love to welcome Amal Kuntal from Ask Financials. He's the director there. Whilst he's only been broking for a short time, he's created an amazing business. And he recently took home a big award. What was the big award that you just won? It was a national award, I believe.
It was the FBAA Broker of the Year, new.
Beautiful. FBAA Broker of the Year new. Congratulations on that. What a massive achievement for somebody only a couple of years in the business. Now, tell us, how you got started and tell us what the journey into the business has been like over the first couple of years.
I've been very passionate property investor, as you know. So I've been in property space for almost 12 years. I have got a portfolio. So I wanted to get into property full time, but I'm not a salesy person. I didn't want it to be a real estate agent, buyer's agents. And I used to work with ANZ, not into the lending space as such, but I started on a graduate program and worked for almost 12 years at ANZ, but wanted to get out of that banking career. I used to work in data space heavily. So numbers is something that resonated really well with me. So one of my dear friend, he actually said that, why didn't you try broking? And when actually I started working on it, the strategy part of it, the numbers, that's something resonated really well with me. And I thought this is exciting. And yeah, I've been enjoying it so far.
Oh, exactly right. So it's interesting you said, I didn't see myself as a salesperson. I saw myself, being good with numbers, and obviously your banking degree and your graduate program had led you into this. And, one of the other brokers I recently interviewed said the same thing, right? That, actually mortgage broking isn't a sale. It's something that people need, right? And, I asked the question, and you're passionate about property investment. And quite often when I'm doing, larger groups, I ask the question, right? So if I could give you passive income, peace of mind, choices in retirement, basically financial freedom, who would be
Yep.
interested, right? And everyone puts their hand up, right? So our market is massive because people want, the fruits that things like property investment give us. And,
Yes.
you know, finance is the vehicle that they need to be able to get there. Right. And so,
That's right.
your passion for what you do ties, perfectly well with what many individuals aspire to.
Yep, absolutely. And so, Ross, what happened is when I was building my portfolio, for the first three, four properties, it was kind of a vanilla deal. But as I started growing my portfolio, I found hardly few any brokers who could understand my need. And I thought, okay, this is one of the space that I want to add value in, where I can help my clients to build their portfolio.
Yeah, love it, love it. And it's and this was an area that I played in my mortgage broking at the start of my career. I did a lot of first home buyers and so forth. But as I grew as a property investor myself, and started building referral relationships with accountants and buyers agents and so forth, then this became an area that I focused on as well. And many brokers, and even the brokers that I coach, um, lack some of the skills when they start with me of what it takes to be a good property investment broker. So let's break down some of those things, right? What does it take to be a good property investment broker?
First is the strategy, I would say, because it's not about just purchasing the immediate property. It's about how this immediate property is going to impact your future purchases. So having the right structure in place, having the right, um, whether you're buying under personal name, under trust structure, when to get under that trust structure, um, whether we're going at 80%, under at 88%. So having that sweet spot as well, educating the clients about it. And this is what, I do day in and out. And this is what really helps the client to build their portfolio as well.
Oh, I love it. And I love the point that you said. And, strategy is definitely important. And I think something you also touched on, which is you educate the client, right? And I think, this is even more, and I talk and, we've done a little bit of coaching together. And, one of the things that I talk about is challenging and educating clients, right? Because it's the education part that leads to them to think differently, where they'll act differently. So talk to me about, well, what are some of the areas that you provide education to your clients?
So yeah, apart from just your numbers or brokering or giving them the loan, I, talk to them about the data. What are the things with what really impacts the market? What are the things you need to look when you're purchasing the property? I've got a checklist as well. Before they purchase the property, I just make sure that they have picked up all the, points and they're comfortable with the buying. I do run the cash flow summary with them to make sure that they have enough. Because see, in the current market, when the interest rates are so high, properties are going to be negatively geared. Are they comfortable holding that many properties, having that negative cash flow? How it is going to impact their personal life? And if they are, it's just to make sure that it's not going to strain them financially. So these are the things that I walk through with them.
Yeah, love it, love it. And so, you mentioned another thing, right? So cash flow, right, is so important. I'm a property investor. A lot of my loans have just come off, low fixed rates, and gone in. And, to me, it's that ability to be able to hold the properties long term, and strategies around cash flow and how to manage cash flow is definitely one of the skills of a property investment broker, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
And in terms of when we look at cash flow, so some of the things that you mentioned, which I loved, right? So you do cash flow forecasts on that particular property, where you take into account, what is the rental income? What are the expenses going to be, like agents' fees, the maintenance costs, rates and strata and everything, and working out, well, what it is that's left over that
Yeah.
you can afford, right? And I think this is a key thing for brokers to understand in terms of, and it's also an education piece for the client, isn't it? How many clients come to you and think, oh, I can't afford an investment property?
There are a few clients because they just live paycheck to paycheck. And if it is going to be negatively get, and if you're buying under trust structure where you're not going to get any tax benefits, so I tell them that, second is about the living expense and having that buffer. So always from the risk management perspective, I said, whatever your living expenses, have at least 6 months of buffer, and
Mm.
whatever the rest of the amount, then you can invest. I've seen so many clients that I've got 100,000 of savings. I want to put all 100,000 into the property investment. And I
Right.
said, okay, if something goes wrong, what are you going to do tomorrow? So
Mm.
having that risk management is also equally important.
Exactly. And this is exactly what comes into the strategy and why you've been so successful within your business, right? Because, it's not just about having the money to be able to purchase and, oh, you've got 100,000. Yes, we're going to use all of that money. Part of the strategy is around, if A, B, or C happens, as you mentioned, what are your ability? Because, I think what a lot of people don't understand with property, that the time frames that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Time frames that we're talking about in terms of, you know it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? It's the time frame when we're looking at properties should be long term, ideally, 20 years plus, right? When we're thinking really short term in property, short term is 5 years. It's not 1 year, it's not 2 years, it's not flipping a property to make it's, you should, if a client is going to buy a property, they need to plan, well, how am I going to hold this property for the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
As a minimum, rather than looking at how can I just get in for the next 1 or 2 years. So these things like risk mitigation factors come in to it. And, I was reflecting with, some of the properties that I bought in Brisbane, and I invested in Brisbane, around sort of 2013 to 2015, right? And so had I only had a 5-year window on those properties, I would have made very little profit, right? Very little profit because, if you know the Brisbane market, Brisbane didn't really spike until COVID, right? And it went up dramatically. And, whilst I can look back and, some properties were sort of 7% gains, some were, averaging sort of 12, 13% per annum, gains. But had I looked over that initial period, the numbers wouldn't have been anywhere near there, right? So that sort of long-term time frame and then planning for that and having the strategy for that becomes really, really important.
Absolutely.
All right.
I would also like to add that there should be an exit strategy as well. So for some reason, if something goes wrong, what is your exit strategy? So when you're purchasing, always have an exit strategy as well.
Yeah. So in terms of, and this is other things that you speak about. What else do you think is important, to be a good investment property broker?
So again, it's not about just providing the loan. It's important to have the relationship with the client. So as you always said, it's a relationship broker and not a transactional broker. So that is another key important aspect, because if you want to build a portfolio for the client, it's not just one merry transaction. So we are looking to build, say, 5 properties, 6 property, 10 properties for the client. They are going to be a repeated business for us as well. So important to have that personal connection with the client is also equally important.
Yeah, love it. And, and that's why invested property clients are so great, right? Because they transact more often.
Yeah.
Right. So if you come up with the plan, come up with part of the strategy, and you build that good relationship, then they transact more often because they're loyal, you understand their situation, you understand their goals, you get investment, and they're far more likely to do repeat business.
Yep.
And also they're far more likely to refer other people, right?
Absolutely.
Because, within their circles, if they own a couple of properties, they're seen as a go-to person to get advice for those things. So in saying that, so what date did you officially start the business?
I started in 1st October 2022.
All right. So you started just literally just gone 2 years within
Yep.
the business.
And my first loan settled in December 2024.
Yeah. December 2022.
Sorry, December 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
So, tell me in terms of, because, I think you mentioned to me, you're doing volumes sort of around that sort of 20, 25 million mark now. So, the growth has been very, very quick over a period, and a lot of brokers would aspire to that. So what do you think your secret was to you generating the level of business that you've been able to generate in such a short period of time?
I personally feel that, see, having a niche is very important, because a lot of brokers, they just want to be generalists and want to do anything and everything. But I went onto the market, I had my investment niche and I stick to it. And whatever the learnings were in this journey, I just stick to investment journey. So I have carved my niche that as an investment savvy mortgage broker. So this is one of the things which I personally feel that people go wrong, is they just try to be a generalist broker and do anything that comes their way. Yes, when you're starting out as a new broker to generate the leads and everything, it is a bit difficult, but carving yourself a niche is also equally important. That being said, if a first home buyer comes to me, am I going to say no? No, that's not going to be the case. I'm going to do that loan, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to have my niche.
Exactly. And that's what I think a lot of people misunderstand about the niche. Exactly what you said. It doesn't prohibit you from doing any other type of loans that may happen to come across your desk. But what having a niche does is makes you a magnet to the clients and referral partners of that particular niche that you focus in. Right? So, yes, I'm sure you do first home buyers. You're of the age where I'm sure friends and family and other people are getting loans from you for all types of different things. And, you're going to have, property investors that are going to have certain needs, right? And you've built the relationship. Hey, if I need to do this, or I need to buy a business, or I need to, you're not going to refuse to service and look after your clients. But
Yep.
what you said there was perfect, right? Like, by having a niche, what it has done is really allowed you. And then what are the doors, and how have you opened some of those doors using this particular niche?
So I created different packs, created landing pages, and created tools which basically attracted the investors, as well as spoke with the buyers agents the language that they know, they understand about the data, about the different property hotspots. I've also written an ebook on how to find your hotspots. So these are the things which resonates with your referral partners as well. They are comfortable to refer the deals with the person who understand what they are talking about. So that was one of the game changers.
Oh, exactly, exactly. And so, in terms of these types of referral relationships, so you mentioned a number of different referral partners. What do you think the key is, and where do you think some of the brokers that you've seen get referral partnerships wrong?
Again, important is to understand because see, with the referral partnerships, it's not about just you getting the lead, because at the same time you have to support them, their business as well, understand what their client needs are, understand. So there are referral partners where they want the um, referral back kind of arrangements, whereas some people that really don't care about it, they want to make sure that their clients have been taken care of. So you have to work, you need to understand what exactly their clients need, what they are after, and based on that, you approach every referral partner differently. It cannot be a same approach with all the referral partners.
Yeah. So again, understanding their needs, just like we
Yeah,
understand client needs. What is this particular strategy for this client? What are their goals? What are their things? And we create the strategy accordingly. So it's no different for understanding the needs of potential referral partners. You're
yeah,
understanding their needs, finding out what is important, and then you're seeing if you are a fit for what their business is looking for.
right.
Yeah.
And many times it's not only about, okay, just there's a referral partner, we should have that arrangement. If your ideologies, if your business principles don't match, I prefer to walk away from that kind of relationships.
Exactly. Exactly. So obviously, this has led to the growth. This has led to the volume of business. And then, you probably, run into some of those, and I know chatting with you recently, you've talked about some of the challenges that you had by starting as a sort of a solo broker, and then you go, okay, I'm struggling to get all this done by myself now. I need some help. All right. And so tell us about the challenges, within for a business that's only 2 years old to, hire and get people on board to help, because I've worked with property investors, and they're not the easiest clients to service. Quite often, there's a little bit more sort of admin and compliance that goes in the back. So it's sort of, they're more admin heavy. You potentially could say in their requirements. So how did you deal with the complexities and the time that comes with the compliance of getting these deals done?
So see, as I told you, initially when I started out, one of the brokers I met, he said that, don't worry, I'll take care of your back office team. He had a back office team. And he said, why don't you come under our AC? And I said, okay, sweet. If someone has been, I'm providing with the back office team with a certain percentage, I was happy with that kind of arrangement. But that arrangement proved really difficult for me because that back office team never used to speak with the clients or send emails to the clients. And it became a bottleneck where I became a bottleneck. I used to work some crazy hours every day. They used to send emails to me. I used to send it to the clients, to the BDMs. The bank used to respond. The clients used to respond. I used to send it back. So on a daily basis, I was dealing with around 200 plus emails, and my 3 to 4 hours every single day was just gone in sorting out the emails, which was, I felt this is not the sustainable way. So I wanted to get out and I wanted to have my own dedicated team. And I did a lot of trial and error. And finally, from June this year, I have a dedicated, and my volumes just skyrocketed thereafter.
Love it, love it. And the challenge that you had are typical to most brokers in the growing pains of a broker trying to get this thing right. And you mentioned a date, so it was from June this year.
Yep.
And so what would be the key success factors in getting it right?
I had a really bad experience in February this year. So I went out in the market. I had 4 new referral arrangements with different buyers agents and all. I got close to 80 deals in a week, and sorry, in a month, and I was not able to handle that. So the back office team, they were not able to handle that. And the client proposition or my client journey just went down north. And I said, this is not the, when I started the business, I had business values, I had business proposition, and I was like, this is not what I've signed up for. This is not what the service I want to provide to my clients. I lost a few clients in that journey as well. So I thought, I took a step back. I said, okay, let me first set up my back office team, and then I'm going to go out in the market, source the leads. So that was a key learning for me, that get your back office team ready, get all your infrastructure ready before you go and source the new business. Because if you lose few clients, basically you're losing them for life. And plus, you're not going to get any of their friends and families been referred as well. So rather than that, take a step back, sort out all your back office stuff, and then go out in the market. So that was a very key learning for me.
Nice. And in terms of how many, obviously, a lot of brokers to get 80 sort of complex referrals in 1 month would be enough to break the systems within their business. So, what were the steps? How many staff members did you set up from sort of February once this happened to you?
February, I was still with that old arrangement, which was not a sustainable model. But from June onwards, I started hiring people directly under my own brand. And right now we have 7 back office staff.
Beautiful. So are these 7 back office staff all remote? Do you have any
Yeah,
internal
all
staff?
remote.
Okay.
No, all remote staff.
All right. So you've got 7 remote staff now.
We have
And
got 7 full-time onboarded staff, and we have got 2 graduates who are learning. So yeah, total 9 staff.
beautiful. Right. So a total of 9 staff in your first 2 years. Congratulations. That's an achievement in itself. And so in terms of with the complex business that you do and the volume of loans and the complexities, what has been the keys to making this work?
Again, I had a target that I wanted to, achieve on, then how I should be achieving that. What are the steps? So between February and June, what I did is I streamlined the process. Before I could onboard the staff, I streamlined a step-by-step process about what every person needs to do, who should be doing it, what they need to do. And I documented that process and made sure that it was a very streamlined, fine process. The moment the staff were onboarded, they were on it straight away.
Beautiful. So they received the process and then they received the training to go in that process. So
Yeah.
with that process, so was it documented? Was it videoed? What was your sort of training methods that you decided to go with? Seeing you sort of made mistakes previously, what did you choose to go with to train an offshore team up with?
Yeah, so the staff that we recruited were all experienced credit analysts, so no one was novice. It's just that now we have a very well functional staff. Now we have started onboarding the graduates.
Beautiful.
Um, Yeah, but when they were onboarded, they were already they had X number of experience as a credit analyst. It's just about working with my style and the procedures that I had set. That is, this is what they wanted to just get used. Also, I had just started working on Broker Engine. I never used Broker Engine earlier. And one of the staff members that I had, he worked Broker Engine really, and he understands the Broker Engine really well. So he helped to train the other staff members on how to use the Broker Engine and all. So now it's become a very well-oiled machine.
Love it. So you've got, the keys that I'm hearing there was one, you got, people that were working with understood the Australian banking system. They were experienced. They had a couple of years of experience in a credit analyst role for one of the majors, I believe. And then you inputted a system like Broker Engine, which is a fantastic system to walk them through. You documented the process that you wanted each client to go through, and now they're sort of working with those clients and talking them through the process, so you can do your part of the process, and then you can hand it over to your back office. And what's been the results? What have you noticed since June?
I'm spending more time on the new clients, the acquisition journey. I'm working on the business and I don't look after the emails at all. It's all the staff members. So all the clients get a dedicated account managers and they look after the whole end-to-end client journey. So I do the initial strategy session, I do the product selection and all. And after that, it's that particular staff member who runs this deal until the settlement. If and when required, clients always can call me and you know I can help them provide with that direction. But since then, the emails, all the staff take care of all the inboxes. So I hardly spend any time. I'm spending more time with my referral partners, with working on the business, working on the different procedures, setting up the other business, which we spoke about. And yeah, it's working well so far.
Love it, mate. Love it. It's so freeing, isn't it? When you get that right and you see yourself doing, probably better volumes than you've ever done before. And suddenly you're not the one that's pressing every button and sort of has to be across every detail and dotting every I and dotting every T, right? There's a lot of brokers that would hear about doing the sorts of volumes that you're doing, and maybe they're stuck at that sort of 3-4 mil a month, and they're doing, and they think, oh, my time's capping out and I'm doing 40 to 50 million. And you were probably like that back then, right? When you were doing 3 or 4, you're like, how am I going to find the time if someone said, you could, close to 10 times what you're doing at the moment. And you'd be like, how can I do that? Right. And now you've done it. So any tips for people who are looking to sort of make that next step? They're at that sort of 40 mil and looking to sort of go to that next level, go to 100 mil plus. What's your advice for them?
Plan and streamline your client journey end to end, how it looks like, what are the steps required, where your involvement is required. Having that streamlined flow end to end is extremely crucial if you want to have the free time and if you want to work on the business. And this is what it was, a trial and error for me, Ross. I did a lot of wrong things. I learned from it. I recruited wrong stuff. I got rid of them, re-recruited the right ones. So as you know, when you have your own dedicated staff, all the training, everything, onus is on you. So getting things right in the first go, it's not going to happen.
Mm.
And it's all trial and error until, because every business is going to be different. Every people that you work are going to be different. It's just that you have to adapt to it, make changes quickly, take decisions quickly. If you want to, make mistakes, make it quickly and rectify it and move on.
Love it, love it. And the thing that you also wanted to touch on was you got rid of email. Right, this is one of the things, and normally when I'm working with a lot of clients, it's the last things that clients want to let go of is their own email box, right? And so you've said you've managed to, get rid of your email. Was it a hard thing to let go of?
Pause, because sometimes when you are super control freak and you want things to be right, because every staff is different. The way they respond, the way they act, and all, it is going to be different. But you have to learn to trust your staff and give them the direction. This is what it should be. Again, my staff is based, earlier it was in Manila, then we had in Bangladesh, in India. The English cannot be perfect at times, but that is completely fine. And I said that use ChatGPT to rephrase it, to rewrite the emails, and make sure that you read it before sending it out. Make sure that it makes sense from the client perspective, and just make it very simplified, because we speak numbers day in and out. There are people who absolutely have no idea about these things. So make sure that a 4-year-old, reads these emails and understands. So make it a very simplified language. And that's what they're doing it. And yeah, so far it's been working well.
Oh, I love that. Do you put that in ChatGPT, make it so a 4-year-old can read this?
Yeah, but see, my team uses ChatGPT a lot.
Nice. Again, I was saying to the brokers the other day that, no longer is it optional, right? No longer is a tool like ChatGPT optional, right? You can use it for so many things in the business. You've given an example for email. You can use it to create loan processes. You can train it for training guides. You can use it for marketing purposes. There's not one thing within the business that you can't use it for, right? And so if you're not using it and you don't know how to use it, then you need to use it, right? Amal is obviously, using it to get the English better from his offshore team, but it has 1,001 uses in this day and age.
We use it for the, writing the notes to the assessors as well.
Oh, exactly. I'm a big one, and that's something I cover in my course as well, right? How do you do your handover to your team, and then also to create your loan notes to the bank? It's a no-brainer, right? And I wish I had it in my day, right? When I was a broker, because I used to use voice summary, right? When I'd finish the meeting, I'd do a 2 to 3 minute summary of the conversation and hand it over. And I do that this day, and there's my handover, right? It's gold. It's so good. So good. All right. So let's talk more about now that you've been freed up, you've created a number of diversified businesses that you said you're able to work on the business and some of these other ventures. Let's talk about some of these other, things that you've created. You gave me a demo the other day, and I was blown away by an investment tool that you've created called Investar. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that, and what it is and how it works?
So, Ross, every Christmas I start something new as my pet project. So, a couple of years back, as I said, I wrote an ebook on how to find your hotspots, what are the different data tools you use. The year before that, I had created like 7, 8 different spreadsheet models. So, last December, I thought I wanted, because having that 7, 8 spreadsheet is not a viable one, let's create in something unique which I can offer to my clients. And so, I started building a tool on Power BI, which would track all these investments. And when I showed it to one of my friends, he said, we can do a better product out of this. And he is a techie, and he's one of the CTOs of one of the real estate tech firms. So we sat together, we brainstormed it, and then we started slowly working on it. And every week we still are making a lot of changes. And yeah, so we launched this investor.io to just a couple of months back. And this stage is predominantly used by the buyers agents, um, to track their investment journeys, to strategize. It has cash flow analysis, funding summaries, and you can do a lot of things on it. So yeah, so far the clients and the buyers agents are loving it. But yeah, we'll be rolling out to the brokers, to accountants, and we'll be adding a lot of features as well.
Love it, love it. And keep an eye out, guys, because I'm sure when the time comes, maybe we can even do a live demo together. Investor.io. And, as I'm excited about it, some of the key things when you showed me that I loved was, the property data fields in terms of valuations, and it also had the opportunity for clients to use open banking and put some of the bank feeds
Yep.
in, and to show the clients that target the ones that had the equity available to potentially invest. So I think as you said, whilst it's only a new, the potential is there, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Yep. Watch out the space.
Awesome. And then, so some of the other businesses that you've sort of launched, one you mentioned to me was an offshore staffing, because of the success that you've had with, creating your team and how well it's working for you. Tell me how that came about. I think it's called Skill Pal, is that right?
Yep, that's right. So as I struggled to find the right balance and back office team, so while I was setting up this procedures and having that back office team, so I brainstormed with the staff that was in India, and then we decided, okay, why not venture out and provide the same service to the other brokers as well, where they are struggling. So we have like per file basis model. We have a dedicated staff model, and in case if they want to hire that staff directly with them, we have that model as well. So we have come up with three different structures, and yeah, at this stage, we have just launched it, but yeah, we'll be fully into the market in the next couple of months.
Oh, exciting, exciting. And then the last one you mentioned to me, so if one business isn't enough, you've gone and created four, is you've said you've gone in with a partner to do some marketing for mortgage brokers as well.
That's right. So there's a business called, we have launched it called Digistratix. So we provide the marketing support teams for the mortgage brokers, buyers agents, accountants, financial planners. So there's a lot of, things available in the market where they're using the same data across 100, 200 brokers. So from the SEO perspective, the Google ranks you by plagiarizing the
Okay.
content. What we're doing is we are creating the customized content for every broker, and the packages literally start from $90. So you can go up to podcasting, video casting, and you can just keep on adding the packages. So it's a very customizable packages and things that we have. But yeah, we are already in the market. So it's called Digistratix.
Yeah. So if you want to have a look at it, it's digistratix.com. And again, it looks extremely sort of interesting, and you've, as you said, it's not all driven by you. You've got some expert partners in this, and I love that you're sort of diversifying and sort of creating, as you're sort of seeing these opportunities for you within the market, then you're helping other brokers by creating value as well.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So, just to finish off, I always ask this one sort of question, right? So, for your one tip, right? So, you've started your business just over 2 years ago, and again, you've scaled very, very quickly. If there was one takeaway that you'd like brokers to sort of learn from you, what is the one thing that you want to leave them with in terms of piece of advice to help them to scale and grow their business?
Keep learning, keep changing, never be satisfied with where you are, and have a clear goals, clear objectives. And just revisit them on a daily basis, quarterly basis, monthly basis. Keep changing, keep updating yourself. Because the way broking space is, especially with the introduction of AI, it's going to look very different in the next 5 to 10 years. So you have to keep yourself updated in the market and just keep on changing.
Yes. I mean, I love that. Quite often, a lot of people, when they sort of reach out, that's one of the first things that they need is that clear goal, right? And as I said, in terms of, yes, it may change, but without a goal, without a vision for your business to look something different, it's not going to change, right? That's the first thing that you need. And, I was constantly within my business stretching the comfort zone, right? And constantly reinventing yourself and looking for the next ways to grow. And I'm excited to see where you're going to take your business or businesses, I should say, because I think the future looks very exciting. And I agree with you. This mortgage broking landscape um, is going to evolve over time, right? We're still seeing 74% of the market being done by mortgage brokers. And, things like the areas that you're playing in, like property investment, is going to be a hard area for, because of the strategic and type of advice, it's going to be hard for it to ever be taken over fully, right? Because there's so much wisdom, right? And again, while AI is great, it still has its limitations in that it has to be programmed by somebody, right? In terms of, and that human brain is one of the best AI systems within the planet, and especially for the areas that you're playing in, and you're doing it very, very well. So thanks again for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Thanks for, making the mortgage industry a better place for brokers by sharing the tools and services that you're developing. And I'm excited to see what you can accomplish in the future.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Ross, for having me. And as I said, I'm still learning. But thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome. All right, this has been another episode of the Billion Dollar Broker podcast. I'm Ross LeCain. If you want to get in contact, there's a number of ways you can do it. One is to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast channel. Two, go to billiondolarbroker.com.au. And if you'd like to work with me in a coaching, hit the contact us button. We'll book an appointment and we'll be in touch with you. Thirdly, we've got a Facebook group for mortgage brokers you can be a part of that's got plenty of great tools and resources called Billion Dollar Broker for Mortgage Brokers. Until next time, I'll see you later.